So hello everybody, this is Bhante Joe here, and just here in Pickering, Ontario. It's Friday the 10th or 11th, the 11th of January, and just thought to record a short Dhamma discussion for the internet. So I thought that could maybe start with maybe 5 minutes or so of meditation, and then go on to Dhamma discussion. Okay, so we can lean forward a bit and get our body in position and look about 3 feet in front of us and close our eyes. And we can focus in on the breath. Can know when it's coming in and know when it's going out. If we breathe in a long breath, can just know I'm breathing in a long breath. And if we breathe in a short breath, can just know I'm breathing in a short breath. And we can focus in on the breath at the tip of the nose. And if we notice any patterns of tension or tightness around the nose or the face, can just let those relax. And when breathing in and out from the tip of the nose, it can be helpful to change one's perception of the breath so that it's not just air that one's pulling in and out of the lungs, but it's a kind of energy that's all around and coursing through the body. And it is possible to pull it into and out of any part of the body one might like. So can breathe in and out from the tip of the nose, pulling in breath energy from all directions. And we can pose the question in the mind, what would be a really comfortable way to breathe right now? And then one can just let the breathing process respond on its own. And can try to be aware all the way through the in-breath. As the in-breath turns to the out-breath, all the way through the out-breath, and as the out-breath turns back to the in-breath again. And before we finish meditating, can think back over the last 5 minutes or so, and can just ask, what did we try out that maybe worked well? And what did we try out that maybe didn't work so well? And so the next time sit down to meditate again, can try to do it worked well, and see if you get the same results. And this is one of the ways that can learn about cause and effect in one's meditation practice, and can learn to develop it as a skill. So can open our eyes and do a short Dhamma discussion. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. So hope that all is well with everybody, wherever might be in the world. And thought to do a short Dhamma discussion today. There was a question that somebody at the meditation class asked maybe about a month ago. And we were talking about the Brahma Viharas, and was just discussing how basically, if somebody does something to you, somebody says something to you, then to learn to spread goodwill to that person, and not to kind of feel hatred towards that person, trying to subdue hatred. And the question, which was a good one, was basically, if you do this, then isn't there some times when one should react? Sometimes when one should kind of fight back or defend oneself. And so the interesting thing in the Buddha's teachings is that actually one thing that people don't know for monks is that monks are allowed to defend themselves. It's even possible for monks to defend themselves, causing injury to another person or being or animal or whatever it is, in an act of self-defense. But can never do that with the intention to kill. So basically there is this kind of thing that if somebody's, they call kind of trying to threaten people with physical danger, then one can use appropriate, appropriate kind of force. If somebody's trying to, come up and attack you, one person can, best to run away, best to try to escape, but if there's no other option, then for monks, the Buddha says they can give them a punch or a kick or whatever, try to get out of the way. But most of the times, the things that people face in their day-to-day life, or a monk faces, is not one where you're in imminent physical danger. And even when one is in imminent physical danger, often the best response is kind of mettā. It's kind of unless somebody's deliberately coming to attack you, there's many, many steps before that point where one doesn't have to respond at all. And actually, it's even the case that, sometimes not responding is the best defense. Oftentimes people who are trying to physically attack another person, what they're really looking for is to show their dominance kind of over that person. It's kind of not necessarily that they're out to attack and, they really want to harm you. They want to show their kind of dominance. So often if, somebody is coming to physically attack you and they kind of knock a person down, well, if the person gets up and doesn't retaliate, then, walks away, then they often won't chase them, kind of, or, they might not chase them. It's kind of that kind of thing. I heard a story about a zookeeper who was keeping elephants, kind of taking care of the elephants. And apparently when a person goes around elephants, they're supposed to be, very deferent and kind of a very, make themselves very small, kind of, not make themselves too large. And the zookeeper was behaving in this very kind of arrogant way, kind of, kind of looking up and, just kind of walking in front of the elephants. And I think one elephant took a dislike to him doing this, and so it kind of charged him and kept trying to stomp him and, kind of threw him against a wall and all these various things. And, so the zookeeper, there's one point, they had a video of this, and the zookeeper was kind of grabbing onto this this elephant's leg at one point, and then anyways, somehow I think the elephant flung him, and he got near one of these kind of very low half walls, and the elephant went towards him again, and he jumped over the half wall, and the elephant just stopped, like, kind of, okay, you've learned your lesson. So he got away injured, but fine. And often, not just animals, but people are also looking to show their dominance, and kind of in a physical confrontation. At least in the West, it's not usually something like they're like a war where they're actively trying to harm. And most of the time, what people are actually trying to do in situations more like kind of like office politics, kind of where people are trying to smear another person's reputation, destroy their relationships with other people. And oftentimes the best defense for this is actually to, can be just to say nothing, and to continue spreading mettā and to do good deeds. Often these kind of smears that people will do against one another are, based on setting up a negative perception about this person. And so if a person is spreading mettā, they're doing good deeds, even spreading mettā to the person who's trying to harm them, and looking for opportunities to create harmony with that person, with the people around them, then these smear campaigns tend to fail. That's the kind of best defense against a smear campaign, is to do good and to be good. Because it becomes obvious that you're not a bad person. You're just kind of focusing on doing what's necessary. It becomes obvious you're not an incompetent person. And if a person doesn't get upset, their ability to continue on with their work, to do good things is enhanced. And if a person gets upset, then it's very difficult to focus. So it's kind of one of the best responses to kind of these general smear tactics that people might do in an office or whatever it is to spread mettā and to remain calm. It gives people the best opportunity to make an appropriate decision. So there are these kind of different poles to these things. So basically, though, almost all the time the best response is kind of no response. And then there's also the case that there is always the option to kind of disengage. So oftentimes people are trying to say like attack or whatever. If it's a physical attack, one can run away. It's kind of a good option. You can kind of run away, that's good, or step out of the way, whatever it might be. That's good. I think I told this story a few meditation sessions back about how I was walking on the underground path, and there was this fellow kind of coming in the other direction, and it's kind of this hallway, and he was walking towards me and made this sign like, "Get out of the way." And we got really close, and I didn't know if he was being serious or not, but he just kept walking. So I kind of smushed up against the wall, and he hit my bag and continued on his way. And I wasn't feeling too good about that. I have to admit, I was kind of like, why didn't this guy, move into the other lane? It's kind of 2 lanes. He was in the right-hand lane, which people usually walk in. But that was the end of the story. kind of smush herself up against the wall. This guy hits my bag or does whatever he does, and he continues on his way, and another person continues on their way. And so that's kind of all that there really needs to be to that. And similarly, often if you can escape, run away, that's one thing. In a kind of social setting, escape or dodge, step out of the way, that's one thing. In a social setting, there's not always necessary to kind of talk to everybody. One doesn't have to be best friends with everybody. And kind of what mettā means is that we wish this person does well, that they gain true happiness, which means putting the skillful causes into place to be truly happy. But it also comes with the practical recognition. It's not necessarily the case. People with different interests, different backgrounds, different values, different ways of interacting with the world, they can both have good intentions or whatever, but sometimes people just rub against each other. And in that case, there's always the option to dodge in a social sense, to kind of, just disengage oneself from interacting with a person that much. Can just, if it's a workplace setting, can just interact with them the minimum amount needed to get a particular job done. And then just kind of go about doing one's own duties. If it's a family setting or kind of, another setting, like friends or whatever, then, if there's one person who's part of the group who's hard to interact with, all that interactions seem negative, that person seems to be attacking one, then can try to disengage with that person, and kind of don't even need to really make eye contact with them that much. If it's a situation where everybody has to be together, often these kind of interactions start with an eye contact. So you just can avoid making eye contact. Or if they say something, you just don't have to say anything back. So often this is the amazing thing, is that kind of a non-response or spreading mettā, just kind of maintaining a calm mind, and taking appropriate actions, trying to dodge, trying to find the appropriate level of disengagement for the situation. If somebody's attacking one, then this gives one the kind of the best defense, makes one's own mind peaceful. When that person or whoever it is attacking, often it can make their minds peaceful as well. And if one maintains this intention of harmony towards that person, an intention of goodwill, sometimes, not all the time, things can even turn around, and an opportunity opens up for kind of peacefulness with that person. That person can even become one's friend. So this is the Buddha tends to really recommend this kind of more non-retaliation than retaliation, and kind of more learning to endure harsh words and spread mettā in the face of harsh words, even learning to endure physical injury and spread mettā in the face of that. And if one's life is threatened, then one has no other option. One can one can throw a punch or kick or whatever to get out. But most of the time, that's not the situations that people face in their daily life. It's more these kind of, smear campaigns or whatever it is. In which case, mettā is often the best antidote. Just learning to maintain a mind of goodwill, and try to go about one's duties, go about one's life in a peaceful way, in a quiet way, kind of eliminating hatred within one's own mind. Okay, so I think I'll leave that for reflection, and hope that everybody has a great evening, great day, wherever it may be in the world, and all the best till next time.